Alright guys, welcome to 4MR Ranch. So brand spanking new in the box, we have a new production WASR 10, and I wanted to show you guys what is to be expected when you pick yours up. First things first, of course you're going to get some form of manual. Not a whole lot of detailed information inside this if you're not fully familiar with AKs. However, there's plenty of resources, including hopefully my channel, with videos to come of what you need to know about AKs if you're a first time AK user like myself. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it comes with kind of a surplus military style sling. Came with the surplus cleaning kit. Came with one Magpul P-Mag, and of course the rifle itself. So again, this is a new production WASR 10 made in Romania, and this is a 2017 production. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of do an initial impressions video. This is not gonna be a range video. There will be plenty of range videos of this rifle come. But if you are thinking about getting a new production WASR 10, just showing you how drastically the build quality has improved. So I'm gonna kind of look at some of the traditional problem areas for AKs. Okay, so first things first, why did I choose the WASR 10, or more importantly, the new production WASR 10? So if you're familiar with the channel, I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos of me shooting AR-15s. I am an AR guy. I don't plan on letting the AK steal any love from the AR. However, I feel like you gotta have an AK in the collection if you're, big on guns like I am. So that made me start the research. What is the best AK for the money? Now, I'm not looking for the high-end AK where I can really, like an Arsenal or something that's gonna, perform at the level of like an AR-15. I really just wanted something that I can use and abuse the way that an AK was designed to be used and abused. Something that is not gonna be a safe queen, that I'm not gonna freak out if it gets banged up. But at the same time, I want it to go bang every time I pull the trigger and be reasonably accurate. So that led me to the WASR 10s. And once I started looking more into the WASR 10s, I realized the huge amount of controversy that came with the WASR 10s. So if you're not familiar with the WASR 10, I will give you a little bit of backstory on that. Basically, these are from Romania, and they are imported to the US by Century Arms, who does some work on the receiver. They mill them out to make him accept the standard 30-round magazines, and so that's import legal, a whole bunch of stuff. Don't really understand or know all the details, so do apologize, but don't want to waste your time either explaining too much stuff. But anyways, the older ones had a whole bunch of quality control issues, and so it really kind of gave the WASR 10 and Century a bad name for a while. But then I started doing more and more research, and I found out that these new production WASR 10s, and the research is, people speculate different things. I've heard 2008 and newer, you should be good. And again, mine's a 2017, so well within that. And I saw tons of forums, people with, 2012s, 13s, 14s, 15s, they were all great. All the quality control issues has been taken care of. So that made me feel a lot better, and I heavily researched what to look for. So let's go ahead and take a look at those WASR 10 and lower end AK problem areas. So biggest thing that people look at is the rivets. Now, the rivets, a lot of times they're not even, some of them are loose, but the biggest thing that people recommend you look for is dimpling. So that's when they press the rivet so hard that it actually kind of crimps in the receiver and leaves kind of a dent. So I'm kind of trying to move this in the light, and you don't see any kind of dimpling or anything going on whatsoever. It looks pretty good, and they look uniform. So the next thing that people look for when purchasing an AK is actually the optic rail on the side. Sometimes with quality control issues back in the older WASRs, these were reported to be at a slant to where you're gonna have some issues when lining up an optic. This one is perfectly level and it looks good. There's no wiggle, no play. It's on there solid and it's lined up the way it should be. The next area of controversy is the magazine well. So just giving you guys a look, the craftsmanship looks pretty good. There's no sharp edges, no burrs to cut your finger on. It's pretty solid, feels good. And of course, the most important part is that there's no magazine wobble, and there is none. It feels good. That magazine locks in the way it should. But This is with the polymer MOE magazine. I have yet to try it with steel magazines because this is what it came with, and I have not purchased any other magazines other than the Magpul magazines because that's what I like to use. Another area of controversy, and rightfully so, is the front sight alignment. So people are also reporting that back in the older production WASRs that this front sight was canted one way or the other to where sometimes you couldn't even fire the rifle using the iron sights. You would have to use an optic. It was so bad. This one appears to be perfectly lined up. The front sight post itself is already pretty much at a mechanical 0 in the center. Haven't got to fire it or test it out yet. I'll make sure to let you guys know, but so far so good. Looks the way it should be. It's lined up nice. Another area that people express concern towards the business end is actually just the little slant brake detent right here, this button. Sometimes those are gummed up and jammed to where you can't remove the slant brake, and I've already tested it. Mine is removable. You can see that pin goes in the way it should, and there's no salt coming out. So sometimes with just the metal treatment process, when they dip it in things and then they leave it, out of these pins, and especially this one on the front, you'll see some nasty, salts and rust coming out, and there is none whatsoever on this rifle. Okay, so I'm gonna do just a quick takedown of this rifle just so you can kind of see what to expect and give you guys a look at what's inside. So hopefully if you are considering buying this, you can take a look at the internals. I know a lot of people don't like to show that, but just so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into if you choose to purchase this. But so again, just gonna do a real quick takedown for you guys. So I am definitely new to the AK market, but so far everything seems to look of quality to me. I did notice all the serial numbers are matching. So the receiver, the bolt carrier, the bolt itself, and even the handguard and gas tube when I took that out. So everything so far has been matching. It's not a parts kit, wasn't assembled from multiple AKs. This was all factory new, and again, this is a 2017 production. So the trigger itself for the money feels pretty good. There is a little bit of play right here, a little bit of creep, but once you hit that wall, it's a very nice crisp break. And the reset, let me see if I can show you that. Pretty nice reset as well. So really not too bad for the money. And I'm looking forward to shooting it. It almost feels kind of like a 2-stage trigger. So the included cleaning kit's actually kind of cool. It's this nice little self-contained capsule that has a handful of things, some of them flying out. Your bore brush, and then it's got this almost like a little AK multi-tool. So you got a flathead screwdriver, you have a front sight post adjustment, and then this notch right here is actually just so you can tighten the rest of these attachments on the cleaning rod. But you have your standard, I guess something to swab the barrel with if you want to wrap some cloth around this to scrub the barrel as well, and a punch. But then this itself is used as a multi-tool. So this notch right here you can use to remove the handguard. You have a hole in it to where you can use the cleaning rod as a handle. The lid actually acts as a bore guide to where you don't scratch up the inside of the bore, so you'll put your cleaning rod through it, and then you can swab your barrel as needed with this inserted as a guide. So pretty handy that all this was again included with the WASR. Was not expecting that, didn't really read anything on that. It was just something that came with mine. So, for the money, not bad. One downside that I was a little disappointed on was that in the buttstock of the new production WASRs, there's no longer the hole for the cleaning kit. So essentially what there used to be is a little tube in here where you could push this in and store it inside your stock. Kind of bummer there, but I'm not really taking this off to war. It's gonna be more of a ranch toy, so not a big need to be carrying around the kit, although it would have been nice. As far as the handguard goes, it is extremely solid. There's no wobble, there's no play, there's no wiggle whatsoever. It's on there pretty good. So much so that it's really hard for me to flip this lever with just my fingers. I gotta use the little notch in the included cleaning kit to go ahead and just swing this lever to where you can remove the handguard. Alright, so again, just for the sake of giving you guys a little different look than what most people like to do, just so you can see exactly the components, what to expect. If you know what you're looking for a little more than I do with AKs, then maybe hopefully you're seeing something that's useful to you. The wood itself is probably the only thing I'm not a huge fan of. It's not the nicest quality wood. I do plan on staining it. I'll make sure to show you guys a video on the process I decide to go with and give you an update in case you're interested in doing the same thing for a WASR. But I mean, you get what you pay for, and it's not the worst. It doesn't feel cheap. It's just I don't like how blonde the wood is. It's not your traditional kind of darker red Russian wood. So real quick, the included sling. If you're curious how to put this on until you buy one of better quality, or if you want to keep the traditional kind of military surplus look, you may want to use this. But just going to quick show you how to attach this to your rifle. You take this end and you feed it through the loop on the stock. Next, what you want to do is there should be a loop on your sling itself. You want to go ahead and feed it through that loop on the sling. After that, you want to go ahead and feed the sling through the metal loop on the other end. It can be a little tricky. It just fits, just enough to clear. Then you'll bring it back around and feed it through the other end of the loop. And then you can already tell it's taken shape. Now you have it to where you can adjust it, and then you simply just take the hook end and clip it on the built-in sling attachment point in the front. And there you go. You got the military surplus sling attached and ready to go. Now, another feature is that it has the notch cut in the safety lever, so you can actually hold your bolt open. Now, where this is going to be really important is for you guys that go to public ranges a lot, to where when you are required, or it's definitely a lot easier to just hold your bolt open. Alright guys, well that pretty much wraps it up for my initial impressions / unboxing of the new production WASR 10. If you have any questions about this rifle whatsoever on anything I did not cover in this video, please leave it in the comments below. And I will definitely do many more videos and tests of this, including shooting and accuracy, all that good stuff. So if you have not already, please subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And as always, have a good one, guys.